I don't even know where I am anymore. I'm here at Wayside Comics and Cocktails for Free Comic Book Day. Allison Danger is here. She's going to be interviewing people that come here for Free Comic Book Day. She's going to be doing an impression of her favorite Muppet, Kermit the Frog. Omar's around. I should get Omar to do his Kermit voice. Omar, can you do your Kermit voice as you walk by?
Oh no, Jordan.
I really wish that we had practiced that ahead of time. That's really upsetting. Yeah, so today at Free Comic Book Today at Wayside Comics and Cocktails. So much is happening. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be talking with people here. Allison Danger is going to be doing all sorts of fun things. The host with the most. Host on a post. The ghost with the most toast. Stick around. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, I'm Allison Danger, and I'm here with Liam, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his favorite comic.
I don't know if this counts as a comic, but my favorite is about this anime called Blue Lock. The reason I like this comic is because of the art style for these. The art style is what makes it special, and that's why I like these comics. So that's why I'm here on Comic Book Day, so I can get some of these free comics.
Awesome. What new comics are you going to check out today? Did you check out the Free Comic Book Day table?
I've checked out the Free Comic Book Day table, and I think I'm going to grab this comic book called Kagurabachi.
Awesome. Thanks, Liam.
You're welcome.
What's Free Comic Book Day to you?
Well, Free Comic Book Day is the time of year in the industry where all the publishers are putting out books and kind of showing what they have to offer. And it's a good time for new readers, old readers, different people to come in and either if they're already comic book readers to check out what everybody's doing without any sort of investment. It's just a good opportunity to jump in, check things out they otherwise wouldn't. Or for new readers, it's a good opportunity for them to see like what's going on in the world of comics, where they are now. Like it's whether you want to bring in your kid, get them excited about comics, you're an adult and you're like, I want to dabble. And then you can see what's on the table and kind of pick and choose and try something different and experiment and really understand why people love the medium so much.
Thanks, Omar.
You're welcome, Allison.
Keith, can you tell me a little bit what Free Comic Book Day means to you?
Oh, for me, Free Comic Book Day is the perfect reason to leave the house, enjoy some new upcoming creators, new and upcoming artists and writers, and just a chance to meet all the fans of the medium.
Thank you so much. What does Free Comic Book Day mean to you?
Well, I mean, when I was really young, I remember that I normally didn't really get many comics, but I remember, for once a year, I would come here, not this specific place, but any comic place, and I would get free comics, and that was like the one time that I could just kind of go ham and grab a bunch. I think also with online media now, having something where people can actually come in and grab comics is so important.
We're all about the feel of the comic book shop here. What's your favorite comic moment?
Comic moment?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm a big fan of the Death of Superman comics. I'm a big fan of that.
That's a good one. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming today. Enjoy Free Comic Book Day.
Thank you.
Welcome back to this episode of By the Way.
One more time.
Oh my God, I'm not even doing one more time. I'm just going to keep going. Welcome back to this episode of By the Wayside. I talk for a living and I still can't even get the name of my show correct. Today's episode, of course, I've been talking about Free Comic Book Day, and no Comic Book Day episode would be complete without comic book collectors. Luckily today I have two of the most important comic book collectors that I know and could think of off the top of my head. Ty Manning and Gary Preston, thank you again for coming in today. This has been a long time coming.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us. Yeah,
No
appreciate
problem.
it.
The show we're in the late 20s right now, and I think since day one, you two have always talked about being guests on the show, and I am so happy that the importance of what comic books represents, not to just the community of comic book readers and collectors, but to the community abroad, taking down the barriers. I think it's important that comic book collectors are here on the internet and on television at Rogers TV, telling the world that comics are not, there's nothing to be scared of with comic books.
Definitely not. Nothing at all.
No.
Nada.
So then I'll ask my first question. We'll just get right into it. Ty, we'll start with you. What got you into comics?
For me, it was always about the characters, and definitely getting into it as a kid, it was always the stories and then the art. And then as I kind of got a little bit older, I kind of really transitioned into the collector. aspect of things. Having things as maybe calling them tangible assets. And just really kind of chasing. I think when you get into the hobby of collecting, there's always the what's next.
Yeah.
You're always chasing that next grail or that next big book that you want to buy. So that's always been really, really exciting about the hobby and collecting in general for me. The thrill of the hunt, the friends you make along the way, and everything in between. And it's just been, that's kind of what got me into it.
Awesome. Gary, what about you?
So I've been collecting for off and on for about 30 years now. I started when I was about 5 years old. My Uncle Ashley really got me into it. He was a very small part of my life because he lived all the way in England, but he got me into it. I remember my very first action figure actually was a Spider-Man figure.
Oh, nice.
I got hooked right away.
Do either of you remember your first comic book that you ever got?
Yes, I do.
Okay, what is it,
I
Gary?
do. It was a comic that really my parents should have never bought for me.
Is it a heavy metal comic?
No. It's Spider-Man related.
Okay.
It was called Carnage. It's a Wonderful Life. The content was quite gruesome. It's about him in a mental institution just killing Spider-Man brutally, nonstop.
Okay, fair enough. What about you, Ty?
Well, I guess to echo that, mine follows the same train. Mine was actually a graphic novel, and it was Batman: Death in the Family.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it was actually given to me from a neighbor in the co-op, and just kind of that's what kicked it off.
I would have hoped that you had said an Archie comic, because I'll be quite honest, my first comic was an Archie comic.
We went right to the death aspect of
Hey, he's with the Punisher now.
Yeah, so
I just had a conversation about Archie meets the Punisher. Do you prefer to collect or read comics? And is there really a difference between the two? What do you think, Ty?
For me personally, I do enjoy reading comics, but admittedly, I don't read as much as I should. But for me, the excitement of the hobby and what we do is the collecting and kind of going through and building a collection and displaying your collection and being proud of your collection. I think, you're a collector as well too, and there's no better fulfilling thing when you can bring people in and really wave the flag of what you have, right? So I think that collecting piece is something that I personally enjoy about comics and the space and everything there too.
There's a pride to having something like a key issue.
Sure, right? 100%.
And I know at some point in this segment we'll get to, you gentlemen brought in some really cool stuff, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But the prides of one's collection, I think they are just dang cool. They are very, very cool as a comic book reader, collector, and fan. So I'm very excited to show everyone what you brought today. Gary, what about you? Where do you sit on all of that?
I'm a heavy reader for the most part. I've always enjoyed reading. Don't read as much as I like to nowadays, but like Ty said, the collecting part, it's the best part, honestly. Like, there's nothing like checking off your grail off the list, right? It's so funny. Like, my wife and I will have people over for like dinners, or just like family comes over to say hi. And the first thing I do is like say, don't even take off your shoes, come with me. And I take them to what I call my office, the trophy room.
The comic room.
Yeah, the comic room.
The comic room.
Yeah, I've been told by numerous people it's like walking into a museum. So
that is very cool.
It's my pride and joy, and it's something to come home to every day, right?
Well, taking pride in one's collection is especially because collections themselves range from so many different things, right? Whether it's, even going so far as to saying like a gun collection or a mounted animal collection. I feel like I'm going
coin collection,
like a trophy. I think I'm kind of maybe equating trophy with collection. I'm going to put this down because you two did bring in some very amazing issues of comic books, and usually with the Omar Recommends segment, we have one of these bad boys. So every time I get an opportunity to see comic books, I want everyone to see. So Ty, you brought in some of your collection.
I did.
Whip her out. Let's take a peek at what you got. Yeah, what do you have?
So the first one I have to show you guys is probably the one, if there was a fire besides grabbing my wife, this would be the one of the first things I grab. And this is actually the very first, I guess we'll call it collectible comic. Of course, please. And that's a copy of Amazing Spider-Man #6. And this is what really kind of kickstarted the beast that you see before you today. And I was actually, this one's very special as well because I had the privilege of meeting Stan Lee before he passed. This one is actually signed by Stan Lee, which is really,
really?
really
I didn't see. I'm going to look at it right now.
yeah, which is neat to see. So first appearance of a major character being the Lizard, and just one that's very important to me in my collection.
Gary, what do you got?
I just got this about a week and a half ago.
All right, cool.
Struggle's real. This is Marvel Spotlight 5. This is the first appearance of Johnny Blaze, also known as Ghost Rider. This is a book that I actually had about 6 years ago, and I let go of it in a trade, and I instantly regretted it. So this is like a full circle moment. Like, it finally came home to daddy.
Even telling that story, when you talk about people coming into your home and you showing off these things, this really is a trophy.
Yeah.
You know, that one thing that one white whale that got away,
Yes.
that eventually you Ahabbed it right back into your possession. That's really cool. Ty, I know you got more. I want to see another one, Ty. What do you got over here?
Of course. So everyone will know this one. If you grew up in the 90s or, you know, just alive in general, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, issue number 1 from 1985. I think if you are a collector, you have to have in your collection.
Yeah, that's really good because a lot of people don't know that Ninja Turtles originated from a comic book. They always think it's the cartoon, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So it was in the
Absolutely.
indie comic actually originally too.
Who doesn't know who the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are, right?
I don't know who they are.
Yeah, I've heard of them. Someone told me to buy this, actually.
Gary, what else you got?
This is House of Secrets 92. I was very adamant about getting a raw copy, but no one ever sells raw copies of this book. So
Can you define a raw copy?
So a raw copy is a book essentially that is in a bag and board, whereas a slab copy is something that would be like CGC, CBCS, PGX, and it's encased. So this is the grade that CGC would have picked it as, and then it gets encased in this. And it will also tell you the type of page quality, like it's off-white, white.
So the first appearance of Swamp Thing,
Yes.
who still today continues to be a really popular character in DC.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
This one's very special to me as well, too. So this one's a very, very big blue chip comic, they call it. And this is a copy of Avengers number 1.
Nice.
And why this is actually so special to me in my collection,
Thank you.
Jordan, is I actually procured this comic from Gary. We actually part of the fun, kind of going back to the collecting piece, is having the ability to even do some trades with some individuals. So the fact that you can trade and kind of do it that way, it really creates a sense of community, and I think that's one of the most exciting things about comics and, you know, places like, you know, Wayside Comics and Cocktails, is it really does bring that community together. And in fact, I met Gary as a fact of, you know, being a patron here. So this one's special because it comes from Gary's collection. It's one of those ones that comes from a buddy, and it's Avengers number 1.
Yeah. Gary, what's the next one you have?
This one is actually the first appearance of my favorite Marvel character ever. Well, top 2 favorite Marvel character ever. This is Giant Size X-Men number 1. This is the first appearance of Colossus, Storm, Nightcrawler, and Thunderbird. And it's also the 3rd appearance of Wolverine. If you're a real collector, you're going to have multiples of one book.
Ty, your last one.
And that is a copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 1. You don't see too many of these come up for sale in the wild, so when you are able to actually get one and hold on to one, it's an amazing piece. It is a 1.0, but as we say in the collector community, low grade is better than no grade. So just to be able to have a book like this, you know, it really is a piece of Marvel history, Jordan. You know, from 1963, Amazing Spider-Man number 1, you know, other than his first appearance, which this is not, this is really where Spider-Man took off.
There is holding a piece of history in your hands. There's something about like the Declaration of the American Declaration of Independence. You can physically hold it and know that it's real. It's like maybe going out and seeing that, like, what is there, like 100 copies of Action Comics that exists in the world, but could you imagine being able to even not even hold it, but just be this distance away? I got to see it. That's pretty dang cool.
It's true. When you talk about the numbers of everything, and just, you know, even the ones that are graded at a 1.0, there's about 185 of them or 186 of them in the world. So just to have one of those is amazing.
Talk about an elite community. Gary, you have one more in your group before. What's your last one there?
So this, in my opinion, is the crown jewel of my collection, actually, because it took a while to get one, but I eventually did over time. Another one of my favorite characters ever, Daredevil.
But it's one of those things because if it's Daredevil #1, it's your favorite character.
Yeah.
There is so much more to it than just it being that collector's item. It's like a part of you. It's a part of who you are.
Mhm.
I believe you have multiple Daredevil tattoos, correct?
I've only got the one right now,
Oh,
but
okay,
we're
the
working
one, all
on
I'm the one
Weather.
with multiple.
This one-
I'm confusing you. The collectors are just melding into
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, we're Ty Gary kind of.
This was an
huge,
Andrew Wilson piece, actually.
Don't go anywhere. We've got lots more with Ty and Gary right after this.
This is By the Wayside, and we'll be right back.
And we are back. I think it's, you know what? I missed one question. And it was actually the really most important question. And I can't
Everyone
believe
does get one.
I forgot all about it. And I'm glad that it's at the very end. Gentlemen, I can't believe I missed this question. What stereotype is more pervasive about comic book readers, comic book collectors, that you feel needs to change? Ty.
I think when you look at a collector or a reader, you think of a certain type of demographic, perhaps, or age bracket or anything. But I think when you really break it down, comics are for everybody. You
Yes.
know, and that's kind of the cool thing. There's so many peoples and cultures represented through comics.
Yeah.
I think everyone can identify with, and I think definitely, as we get more into the future with events like Free Comic Book Day, to see kids coming in and picking up comics and getting interested in comics, whether it's stories or heroes or anything like that.
Mhm.
I think that the kids are going to be the next really kind of group to carry this, through into the future.
Yeah, like adults can collect comics too, you know? Like I know some people might think, oh, those are childish because they have pictures in them.
Yeah.
Right? Well, some people like comics, all right? Like, get in touch with your soul.
Yeah,
Get that childlike whimsy.
I know that you two gentlemen are aware of what happens in each episode of By the Wayside. We always do an Omar Recommends. And when Omar recommends his comic books, he touches on, he's very open about how they make him feel and what the comic book is intentioned to make the reader feel.
Mhm.
And recently I have said to my wife that I'm not a music guy, but there are 3 songs that I've cried listening to.
Mhm.
There are more comic books that I've cried reading. There's something that comic books and movies share a close connection where they allow you to just be entertained and they allow you to sort of be in a different world. It's just taking a novel and putting it in picture form.
Yeah.
It's an escape from reality.
It's an escape
100%.
from reality. The one stereotype that from my perspective, is that yes, there is that level where people find it childish. They find it that there's only there is only a one group of person that reads comic books, and that's not the case.
No.
And I think that falls in line with every single medium or every single fandom out there. That
Right.
There's no gatekeeping involved. There's no. It's a community of people that want to embrace other things in the community, that want other people to know that hey, just because I read a comic book doesn't make me any less of anything.
Yeah, no.
Definitely.
And I
not.
think that that's an important note to be brought out to everyone that's kind of not scared of comic books, but wondering what the world of comic books is. There's nothing to be scared about.
Yeah, if you like the movies, I guarantee you'll like the books.
Yeah.
If you like having fun, guaranteed you're going to like comic books.
Absolutely. And I think there's always been that stigma of, it's childish or it's, I don't want to be a nerd or this like that.
Yeah.
But I think with the mixture of the movies and what we have now, and it's also about, again, going back to the community, finding safe spaces where you can kind of wave your freak flag a little bit and really kind of, be proud of what you're doing when it comes to comics. And, you meet amazing people along the way. That's another element of, I think, of, why this makes what comics are so special.
On that note, Joe, again, I can't thank you enough for coming into Wayside Comics, being a part of today's episode, and talking about what you love, and again, breaking down those barriers that there's more to comic books than just a couple white guys.
Yes, absolutely.
I really appreciate it.
We're likewise. We're thrilled to do it, and
Awesome.
thanks for having us.
We've been looking forward to this since we started talking about this back in February.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Go visit your local comic shops.
Yeah, support your local LCS.
Awesome. Stick around. We got lots more in this episode, so don't go anywhere. Hey everybody, welcome back to this episode of By the Wayside. It's been a pretty busy episode, and of course, no episode would be complete without an Omar Recommends, and I know he's around here. Omar, do you have something to recommend today?
Hey, Jordan. I just happen to be walking around.
Okay, yes. Well, I didn't know.
Yeah, imagine that. I just chilling in the back, came out of a little hole that's in the roof.
You rappelled down like some weird James Bond film.
Oh, hell yeah. It's
I
a
like that.
cliffhanger up there. You don't know. There's all kinds of worlds of imagination in here. And there's little crawl spaces and all kinds of things. And that leads me to my pick for this episode, which is Joe the Barbarian by Grant Morrison and Sean Gordon Murphy.
Sean Gordon Murphy.
Sean Gordon Murphy. Sean Murphy, but Sean Gordon Murphy.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah. I felt I need to say his full name because I believe he deserves it. His caliber of artistic talent is quite up there, and he's done a bunch of amazing things. If you're a Batman person, Batman White Knight, definitely worth checking out. But today we're talking about Joe the Barbarian, and Joe the Barbarian is exactly about that. It's about imagination, and I'm going to say small stories. When we think of comics, we think of all the grandeur of everything, and the bombast and the big heroes and the fighting aliens and spaceships and buildings coming down. But, sometimes the biggest journeys are in the smallest things. And Joe the Barbarian is actually a very simple story. Our main character, Joe Mason, he needs insulin, and his mom leaves him for the night, and he basically kind of loses track of where he's put his things, and he can't get his sugar with his diabetes, and he has a pet rat named Jack. And as he's trying to find his insulin, basically, his mind starts to hallucinate a little bit.
Yeah.
And his pet rat named Jack suddenly becomes this nightly rat. And he kind of gets transported to this other world. And it's all very familiar, and it's all through his home. It's really cool because all bits of pop culture are represented in there. He draws all these things in the background. But it's a small story about a boy who just needs to get his insulin, but his mind is hallucinating a little bit. And in this world, he's in his own world. He doesn't know if he's the hero. He doesn't know what's going on as everything around him is going. But the story is very simple. It's such a grand tale within that simplicity. And I love this book because of that. Grant Morrison does a great job of taking just a very simple concept and making it run and ride. And it is a feast for the eyes. And it's just really fun to see. It's imagine if all your toys in your toy box growing up suddenly came to life. All your posters came to life. All those movies that you've seen around you. Well, that starts infiltrating into your reality. And that's kind of the fantasy world that you get in Joe the Barbarian. I love this book. It's a great one and done. If you just love pop culture, if you love storytelling, if you love imagining things, if you love those worlds, but that's what this book is all about. And again, it's all done within the context of a very simple premise. And that's why I love books like this.
I got to be honest with you. I'm probably going to buy this once we're done. This sounds really exciting and really...
It's great.
Just I love the idea of when amazing things happen in small scale and like you said, it's just this one person looking for something, and it's the slow process of how a child is
He's
just
13, I think. Yeah.
So a teenager,
a 13-year-old kid with a pet rat named Jack.
Okay. I love those kinds of stories. I love alternate history stories. I love when things weird happen in the background, something serious is happening here, but then in the background there's a sword fight between a pirate and Bigfoot. That's the kind of stuff I like.
You're going to love this.
Then I'm going to absolutely, I'm very excited.
That's right up that alley. Yeah, 100%.
Omar, we're going to stop the Omar Recommends because I'm going to buy this from you right now. Thank you again for recommending a comic book.
No worries. And again, check out Joe the Barbarian, guys. This book it's just a treat. Honestly, it's a treat, and like I said, it will take you places you don't expect it to go, but the amount of just Easter egg references that he throws in the background of the artwork that alone is just worth jumping into this just to get that feeling of nostalgia. It's like Goonies, Monster Squad.
Oh, cool.
All these things put into the same thing. That kind of feeling that you get, that kind of feeling when you were a kid and you went into the woods and you grabbed a stick and that's a sword. That's what this kind of gives you within that very realistic context of what's going on. And he's actually endangered the whole book, and you do have that kind of Hitchcockian, there's a bomb under the table and it's there the whole time.
Very cool. It does sound right up my alley. Awesome. Thanks again, Omar. Do your thing.
Well, thank you guys very much for watching. Definitely check out Joe the Barbarian. Grant Morrison and Sean Gordon Murphy deserve you to check out this book. And yeah, we will catch you by the wayside, guys.
Stick around. What?
I said, keep reading comics.
Keep reading comics. That's the whole focus of this episode. Keep reading comics. Don't go anywhere. We got lots more on this episode of By the Wayside. Yeah, I said don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. That's my copy. Welcome back to this episode of By the Wayside. I don't usually do this, but I think it's really important because during our segment, Gary had mentioned a few things about comic book grading, and he had said some acronyms that were so fast that even I couldn't pick them up. But I think it's really important for the people that are watching to understand what you were talking about. So could you explain everything that you were talking about, the comic grading slabs, the CDC, not CDC, that's wrong, but everything you were talking about.
Yeah, so grading is actually a big part of collecting now. So a lot of people will grade their books because the way it is with collecting, it's also an investment, right? So there are two really big companies. They're called CGC and CBCS. CGC is considered the cream of the crop, and then CBCS is a close second. So what they'll do is you'll take your book to your local shop, or you could do it yourself, and they'll take your books and they will grade them. And they take everything into consideration, from the page quality to dings on the corners, spine ticks, water stains, right?
Yeah.
And that's how it affects the grade, right? So the best of the best is obviously 10, but in the collecting world, we look at 9/8 as the best of the best. It's perfect. Yeah, because the 10 is like out the window, especially with books being like over 50 years old.
Like something you would put on a slab, there's no way it's going to get 10.
No,
it is possible?
Well, there are books that have gotten 10s before. There are books that have actually gotten 10s before. Like I think recently there was a Hulk 181, which is the first appearance of Wolverine. There's only one in the world, and it's like over $300,000 US.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's the only one that's graded a 10.
Only one in the world. So there's this thing called the census, and it'll actually tell you how many books are graded in that grade. Yeah. Then it's a crapshoot. Like a 9/8, a book could be like $5,000, but if you get a 9/6, it's $800.
Oh wow! That's interesting.
Yeah.
So what was it again? It was CD4328. What was it again?
There's CGC,
which is the comic book grading
certification. Yeah, comic book grading certification, if I recall. And then there's CBCS, and they actually will verify signatures and everything.
Oh, very
yellow
cool.
labels. CGC's now into it too. They're working with JSA.
You are throwing so many friggin' letters out. Oh my goodness gracious, that's insane.
I like the alphabet.
Well, thank you very much for clarifying a lot with me, and I hope that every single person that's watching right now gets a little bit more information on what you're talking about when you're grading a comic book.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting, and I know that you like the alphabet, so I will see you later. Thanks, thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Stick around, we got lots more. This was an awesome episode. We got to learn about what Free Comic Book Day is. We got to learn about what it's like to be a comic book collector, a reader. There's nothing to be scared of. I can't thank my guests, of course, Ty and Gary, enough for taking the time to come to Wayside Comics and Cocktails in Newmarket, Ontario, to talk about what they absolutely love doing. That's comic books, of course, and collecting comic books. The amazing people that took their time to talk with Allison Danger. I have to thank Allison Danger again for talking with the people at Free Comic Book Day here at Wayside Comics and Cocktails in Newmarket, Ontario. Of course, the Omar Recommends. I encourage you to read more comics. I encourage you to step out of your reading comfort zone and take a stab. That's like a shot and a stab. A stab. Come on. Take a shot at comic books. I promise you, there is something out there for everybody, no matter your reading level or your age. I guarantee it. And if you are not sold on that, I encourage you to come here to Wayside Comics and Cocktails. Speak to owner Omar Sayer about maybe getting you involved in something that's ready for you. Something you could read, something you like. You like Spider-Man, he's got something to recommend. Do you like The Place Beyond the Pines? I think that's what it's called. He's got something for you. independent, mainstream, doesn't matter. Omar Sayer here at Wayside Comics has something for you. Thanks again for stopping by. Thanks again for watching on the internet. Thanks again for watching on Rogers TV. That is awesome. I love your support. That's it. I'm Jordan Middlebrook. I will catch you by the wayside.